Hiya, I'm Carl. I'm George, and we are Abergele TV. He winked, didn't he?
Hello, I'm so glad I could be here this evening. I wasn't sure, it was a little bit on the rocks as to whether I would be, but we made it, so happy days. And I just want to echo what David said. Thank you so much to you all for being here. I'm thrilled to see a full room. I must admit I was a little bit wobbly earlier on. I think I sent a bit of a message to somebody, but wonderful. We have two guest speakers, well, we've got three, but from two different organisations, potentially another one depending on how our time goes. So I'm going to welcome from the Memory Support Pathway, we have Toby and Laura, who are going to be our first guest speakers. So thank you so much.
Hello, so my name is Toby Fagan. I'm the Dementia Centre, Dementia Project Lead for the Dementia Centres in North Wales as part of the Memory Support Pathway. And this is Laura.
Hi, I'm a Dementia Advisor for Conway and Denbighshire, and I support people in their homes in the community.
So for any of you who don't know about the Memory Support Pathway, it was set up in April 2022 when 4 organisations all joined together. The Alzheimer's Society, who do pre and post diagnosis support, Carers Outreach, who do cover Conway, Gwynedd and Anglesey, doing Hospital Navigator, Nucleus, who cover Denbighshire, Flintshire and Wrexham, doing the same as Carers Outreach, and us, Carers Trust, who cover all the 6 counties, doing 6 kind of centres, 1 in each county. So there's 1 in Anglesey, there's 2 in Gwynedd, because we've got a hub in Criceth and the Bangor. We've got 1 in Mochtra, we've got 1 in Denby, we've got 1 in Greenfield, and we've got 1 in Wrexham. So I oversee all of those centres with 6 coordinators. So the Memory Support Pathway was set up so that if anyone is worried about their memory, or if they go to the memory clinic in any of the memory clinics across North Wales, they automatically get a referral to the Alzheimer's Society, who do go out and do their initial talks and information, which Laura will tell you about in a second. And then they move on to us at the Carers Trust in the centres. And then if we know that anybody that is admitted to a hospital, we can then refer over to the hospital navigators to do a piece of work around admission and discharge and all that kind of stuff that they do in the hospitals, and then they come back to us. So it's a seamless process all the way through. So anybody who touches a person with dementia will be either in the centre or they're out in the community doing the home visits or in the hospitals. So in the centres, they all work exactly the same. There's peer support groups where people with dementia can come and with their carers or their loved one, and we then split so that the carers go into a carers corner to talk about all of the things that have happened over the last 7 days. If there's any concerns, any questions, we can raise them and all that kind of stuff. While the person with dementia is in another room doing cognitive stimulation. And oh my life, the competitiveness that's in them, because they're going to win a chocolate, is unreal. Because they know they're going to get that chocolate, they all fight for it. And we can hear them laughing and joking and all that kind of stuff as well. So it's all there. We also have audiology in the centres, we've got dentistry in the centres, hairdresser, chiropody, information sessions, social history groups. Anything you can imagine happens in the centres. All the magic happens in the centres. So as soon as someone comes to us, they stay with us for however long they need us for, and we carry them on their journey, and then we can refer out to all the other external organisations as well. We can refer over to the fire to have a fire safe well check. All of those kind of things we can do within the centre. We also get guest speakers to come in as well to talk about various different things. If they want something, they ask us, and we will go out and find them to come into the centres. And then we share that across all the 6 centres, and then hopefully we'll then see that happening. On average, last year, we had around about, I might get the figures slightly wrong, within the centres across the whole year, we had around 6,000 contacts within the centres. So that's across the whole of North Wales. Varying degrees of whatever needed, but that was around 6,000 people that we'd supported within the centres. Phone calls, in the centres, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we do in the centres. And then Laura?
So my role usually comes from the memory clinic. So as soon as somebody's received a diagnosis, they will come into me, and I go out and visit people in their homes, in their own environments. Sometimes I go out and visit carers, so sometimes there is some denial about the diagnosis. Sometimes there isn't a diagnosis there and they're just struggling and they need that support. So we get referrals in from people self-referring, we can get referrals in from the Carers Trust if there's somebody coming there. We can get referrals in from lots of different places. Mostly they come from the memory clinic though. So I go out, visit people in their homes or in a cafe, and I speak to them about the level of support that we can give. So that can be anything from financial support to information about the diagnosis, to groups in the area. We can signpost on to social services for assessments in the home. I mean, to be fair, if I was to stand here and say all the different things we were to offer, we could be here all day. Literally anything, we will go out and find that information, try and support you in the best way possible. We also refer on to Toby, who was my next glamorous assistant there. And we work really well as a team in liaising. We've just had an MDT meeting today. We try and communicate, because I think one of the reasons why the pathway works so well is we communicate brilliantly as a team collectively. So we pass on that information, we discuss things, we see how things are going and progressing, and we support each other as a whole unit, don't we, even though we're in separate different organisations. So yeah, that's basically my role. That's it. I say that's it, but it's not. It doesn't sound more straightforward than it is.
So it is the whole thing is all four organisations working together. We're all in the charity sector as well. We're all third sector, so we are able to get through, and we can phone up. And if anyone's concerned, we can phone us on the number which there's leaflets around at the back, I think, at the back. So there's an email address and there's a phone number. If anybody phones or emails, I get to see them all, because I pick up the emails and the phone calls come through to me normally, and then I distribute them to the other coordinators wherever they are in North Wales. So nobody is ever missed. Whoever phones us will always get another contact. Or we will make contact with them, so they're not having to write a number down quickly to then phone them to explain it all. We take the information and we give it over to the next person, whoever it is, so they're not having to repeat it all 3, 4, 5 times. By that point, you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to do it anymore. We take that information and pass it straight on, so it's even easier. And then if they want to give any more information, then they can as well.
And one of the brilliant things about the pathway is that you don't have to have a diagnosis to be involved in it. You don't have to be the person with memory loss. You can be a carer, a neighbour, anyone of concern. You can use that service for that extra support there. So we can support through the diagnosis process as well.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
So now we have PC Paul Jordan, yes, from North Wales Police Missing Persons team, so he's going to be doing a presentation and including information on the Herbert Protocol as well. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. First and foremost, I'm sure you've got here in the back. Good. First of all, sorry, I'm not a PC, I'm just a police staff member, so I'm not going to harass anyone. Sit and say what you want, it's fine. So yeah, first of all, like I said, I'm here to talk about Herbert Protocol. I don't know if anyone's heard of it previously, recently. Yeah, a few hands going up there. So from our perspective from North Wales, it's a safeguarding tool that we're trying to encourage or increase the awareness of across North Wales. Mainly with our partner agencies as well, so we have people like Betty Cadwallader there, our local authorities, councils, North Wales Fire Rescue Service, and WAST as well, so the ambulance service. And essentially, it's a form. I'm not going to speak to you for about an hour, because that's what I have been doing recently internally to some of our staff. And you'd be amazed how many things you can talk about in an hour about a form to someone. but I won't bore you with that. I've only got 10 minutes, so I'll keep it short and sweet. So essentially the form, as I say, it's a national form that can be used Police Scotland, all the way through England, Wales and Northern Ireland as well. So it's not just a North Wales form itself. North Wales originally launched the protocol with the North Wales Safeguarding Board back in September 2018. And David, I think they mentioned earlier, the nasty virus in 2020. And that sort of put paid to a lot of the initiative that was ongoing at the time. And since then, we've tried to reinvigorate it with our partner agencies and trying to increase the awareness, not just internally within North Wales Police, obviously external partners, and within the community as well at large. The Herbert Protocol itself is named after a war veteran named George Herbert. He was a veteran of the Normandy landings, and fortunately he died in 2011 during a missing incident that was reported to the Norfolk Police at the time. Subsequently, the family and Norfolk Police got together and tried to come up with this initiative and this form to come together to provide further information to partner agencies and police. So at the time, as and when someone is reported missing with dementia, they have this form here, and rather than being asked 100 questions and trying to remember 100 answers, we can ask for the pertinent questions there, and then, as I say, time is of the essence. When someone goes missing with dementia especially, the quicker we're aware of it, the quicker we can deploy resources out. Using the form as well, it gives us much more information and lines of intelligence, or lines of inquiries, as we call it internally. We can deploy certain resources out to specific areas where that person is more likely to be found, as opposed to a report coming into us 5 hours down the line, and that person could have easily got a train or a bus or anything, and it could be anywhere the length and breadth of the country. Basically, it's a safeguarding tool I'm trying to introduce across North Wales Police, and we're seeking help, not just internally but obviously externally, with like yourselves, to do so. How the form works, if my computer would like to work, it's not the golden bullet, so to speak. It's not a sort of contract. It's not a case of, if you do this, we will guarantee we will return or find you a loved one safe and well. That's just not the reality of things. It's a risk reduction tool, it's a safeguarding tool for whoever is looking after that person with dementia, whether it be next of kin, family, carers, local governments, councils that are going in, basically they can have all this information to hand. So as and when a timely report is needed to be made, again, all that information is there, and it's not trying to remember 100 things in your head. And with the forms, what we are asking at the moment is that as and when you fill them in, you keep the forms yourselves as and when they are needed to be submitted to North Wales Police. So for example, we have had people that fill them in and then just send them straight back into us for us to keep on file for them. I'm sure you can imagine some of the pitfalls, scapegoats around that, in terms of, if we was to have someone's information like that on file, 2 or 3 years down the line we get a report of someone going missing, we try and use the information on the old form for someone that's been reported in the modern day. We're going off all the information that may or may not have any relevancy to what's going on in that person's life at that time. So what we do ask is, as and when you do fill in the form, potentially date it, and then with any significant updates that you make along the line, potentially just put some further updates, or updates in the log, updates alongside when you've made updates to the form, just for your own benefit as well, so you know where you're up to on things in terms of where any significant changes may have occurred within that person's life at that time. And again, there's 3 ways of getting that information to us. The most obvious one is making the phone call to 999. Please, if you take away anything from today, and if a loved one, whoever it may be with dementia, goes missing, please do not call 101 and hang on the phone for 15, 20, 30 minutes. Like I say, time is of the essence for us. We have a thing called golden hour principles, where we need to get as much information as we can. The sooner we can, the better chance or better likelihood is we can provide a positive outcome for that person. So please, please, please take away anything today and ignore the last 5-10 minutes of what I've just spoken about. Just phone 999 and report it into us. We're an emergency service, and it's an emergency situation. Secondly, so making the phone call, we can also have officers dispatched and sent to your house, care setting, wherever it might be, to get that information, and they can relay that information with radios into the control room out to units in the local area. Or thirdly, if you're a bit more tech savvy, you can send in an email into the control room will pick that up, and they can then distribute that out into our local policing services, and they can then use that information, like I say, put the right people in the right places for that. Like I say, I don't think I've got much more time, but I will be here for the rest of the evening, so if you've got any questions or queries, want to speak to me about anything personally, want any forms or leaflets, I'm happy to speak to everyone about that. I'll still go at the back, or try and find put a pew somewhere if I can. I wasn't expecting it to be so busy, and I'm not a very good public speaker. So thank you very much for your time. Like I say, if you do need anything, please feel free to give me a shout, and I'm more than happy to discuss if it's required. And thank you very much for your time.
So we've also got some very special people here from the Regional Partnership Board. So we've got Melanie Sillett and Karen here as well. So I'm going to just hand over to you to do a little intro to who you are, what you do, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Mel S.
Yeah, never Mel. Good evening, everyone. My name's Mel Sillett, and I'm a Regional Dementia Project Manager. I cover the whole of North Wales. Part of my role is to help with the implementation of the All Wales Dementia Care Pathway Standards, quite long-winded. And I work with the health boards, so BCU, the 6 local authorities, and partner organisations such as the Alzheimer's Society, Carers Trust, Carers Outreach, and NUCAS to help with the implementation of those. In addition to that, though, it's all anything related to dementia. And back in 2023, the Alzheimer's Society announced that their Dementia Friendly Communities recognition scheme was going to come to an end as of 31st of December. So there's a bit of a panic across North Wales with all the existing dementia friendly communities, what's going to happen, you know, are they all going to fold? And obviously we also had new dementia friendly communities evolving, saying, you know, who's going to help us and support us? So we came together, the regional team, with the 6 local voluntary councils, the 6 local authorities, as well as the health board, and decided to launch our own dementia friendly community scheme. So we basically took over from the Alzheimer's Society. We created it based on their exactly the same scheme, because they shared their documents and things with us. And we, you know, got permission to do that, and we've got our own North Wales scheme. So from that, then we were able to help other communities to become dementia friendly and sort of continue the good work across North Wales, so it didn't sort of come to an end. So I'm not going to go into the recognition scheme and how it all works, because I'm sure Mel's probably told you all that, but what I would like to say is obviously last year Mel applied and as Dementia Friendly Abergele and all the steering group to get the official status. And I'm proud to announce that Abergele has been officially awarded Dementia Friendly Community status under the North Wales scheme. And I just want to say that the recognition is just a testament, really, of all the hard work, the compassion and commitment shown by everybody involved, you know, from volunteers, organisations, local businesses, residents, you know, to improve services for people living with dementia, you know, within the community, and make everyone feel, you know, in a safe environment. So I just want to, you know, say about the commitment to that, and how they're going to continue to those living with dementia and their families from now and in the future. And what just tonight, it's just been wonderful to hear what everyone's done, because, you know, it started off, and I know back before COVID you were dementia friendly, and then obviously, you know, it ceased for a while and it's come back up. And what you've achieved in Abergele and the surrounding areas is phenomenal, actually, in several months, to be honest, and getting all the businesses and everybody involved, and it's just lovely to see it. So I just want to say thank you, and continue with all the good work. Thank you.
Lovely to hear. And it is, there's so many achievements. We were looking at reflecting over our organisation log, so we have to keep a kind of like a wrapped up document of everything that you guys are all doing, and it's amazing that it doesn't sound much submitting 3 pledges, but those little changes can make a massive difference to help people still feel part of their local community. So you really should be proud of everything that you're doing, because it's making a difference. So thank you so much. Well done, everyone. I'm going to talk very briefly about what's coming up next. So in case you haven't seen, this week right now is called Dementia Action Week. So it's a week that happens in May every single year, you might see hashtag DAW, obviously 2025 right now. When, like, reverse back to last May, which was when we did the relaunch of Dementia Friendly Abergele, we did it at Studio MG, my place, and we basically put a shout out to local organisations and said, does anybody want to become affiliated with us? As Mel said, we had to reignite and re-establish all of these connections. It was lovely as well that we've had some new affiliations, and I hope that from today, even if you're not already part of Dementia Friendly Abergele, that you might feel inspired to fill that pledge form in. There's a QR code in the new community brochure. There's loads of them on the table at the back, which has been developed with North Wales Police, where you can literally just scan the QR code and it brings up the pledge form for you. With many of you who have review dates that are coming to an end in October, hopefully you've already got some ideas of what you can do next, because it's an ongoing process. You want to continuously be thinking, what can I do to be more dementia friendly? Now I've achieved these pledges, what can we do? And it doesn't have to be take over the world, it can be tiny little things that can make a massive difference. So hopefully you can share best practice, no need to reinvent the wheel. If you've seen something else that someone's doing and you think, we could do that, then that can be on your next pledge form. Happy days, ticks the box, and you can implement it with ease, I hope. So Dementia Action Week, going back to this, loads have been achieved in the last year, and what have we got coming up? So obviously we've marked this with this event this evening, purposefully being during Dementia Action Week. On Friday you will see some of the Dementia Friendly Abergele steering group in Tesco in Abergele. They very kindly welcomed us there so that we can promote the Virtual Dementia Bus coming back. So we've organised for that to be in Tesco Car Park on the 17th, 18th and 19th of June. If you don't know much about the Virtual Dementia Bus, it's basically to allow you to walk in the shoes of somebody who's living with dementia. It's a 3.5 hour experience, I want to say, and there's 16 people in each session. We do 2 sessions throughout the day, so there's one that's 10:30 till 1 and then there's 1:30 till 4. And during that time you'll have the opportunity to go onto a motorhome, kitted out, and your senses will be changed. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but you will have the opportunity to do some tasks as though you were living with dementia, and then there's a debrief, and it is honestly, it can really be life-changing because it really helps you to develop a whole new level of empathy, compassion and understanding. Those places we are subsidising, they cost £39 per person, and we are doing subsidise with the fundraising that we've already done of £25 per person up until 31st of May. So if any of you are interested in going on it, then please do shout out. As I say, we're limited to only 32 people per day in total. So that's going to be coming up, and we're promoting it this Friday in Tesco. So come along and say hi. We've also going to be supporting more in the community centre. So some of the plans are to establish a memory cafe here. As David mentioned, there was a grant that we obtained from the Catholic Church for £9,000, which has gone into the renovation of this room and the memory lane in the back. There will also be some old movie nights coming up. We're hoping to establish those because the George and the Dragon donated a projector and a screen, so they'll be taking place here as well. Some dementia-friendly movie nights, which is great. We'll also be having another memory walk in September around World Alzheimer's Day, and you might see us pop up at some local events too, so there's some things coming up in the future. As I mentioned earlier, if any of you want to have a dementia-friendly information session, you've not yet attended one, then please do give me a shout and I can point you in the right direction.